You're watching CW Montana. This is the MTN 9 o'clock news.
And good evening. Thanks for joining us on this Friday. I'm Andrea Lutz. Ahead tonight, firefighters spend over an hour trying to contain a fire that destroyed two businesses in downtown Libby. The latest on how it happened. Plus, Montanans will soon get to bet on professional and college sports as a new sports gambling bet law is signed. The details are coming up. But first, across our state, thousands of determined students are ready to enter the workforce. But first, a move of their tassel and a walk across the stage to receive their diplomas. We're looking ahead to graduation day at Montana colleges. It is a big weekend for college graduates in Montana, and we start in Missoula, where over 2,000 students will graduate this spring semester. Graduates will line up at the Oval starting at 8:15 tomorrow and then walk on to the Adams Center for the ceremony. This year's commencement speaker is Dr. Lisa Parks, a UM alum and MacArthur Fellow. Officials say preparations for this big day, well, they started weeks ago.
So timeline purposes, last year we had a whole week for it. We started building on Monday to give everyone time to figure stuff out, whereas this year I did set up on Wednesday. So a little shorter time frame because we knew what was going on.
At Montana State University, as over 2,000 students will also march in their caps and gowns at Brick Breeden Fieldhouse. University staff are expecting a large turnout of people to celebrate, and they say traffic, it might get congested.
This is what these students work so hard for over the course of 4 or more years if they're getting advanced degrees. It's a magical time in the life of a university when we can say goodbye, we can gather all the family and friends in town and just have a tremendous time.
And there are also two ceremonies tomorrow at MSU-B, one at, or MSU Bozeman, I should say, one at 9, one at 1:30. And then over in Billings, students will graduate from MSU Billings, as well as Montana's oldest college, Rocky Mountain College. MSU-B graduates will line up at Metro Park while Rocky Mountain rehearsed today on campus. Some of the celebrations started today with events that will go on into this evening. The Rocky Mountain College president plans to deliver words of encouragement at graduation.
I'm going to talk about resilience. I think that's what makes the world go around. I don't think it's the powerful or the rich or even the educated. It's about resilience. It's an old adage about living in the moment, so I would hope they'll take a few minutes to themselves and embrace what they've done, the significance of getting a degree, and a degree from Rocky Mountain College.
Okay, the commencement ceremony for Montana Tech is Saturday as well, and that's going to be at the Butte Civic Center. So if you're heading there, officials say plan ahead for yourself and your guests. Students will start lining up at 10:15 for the procession, and then they're invited to a reception in the annex after. Some new information on a budget shortfall at Great Falls Public Schools. This to the tune of about $1 million. Funding for preschool is one of the major concerns. A budget committee has been formed to address the issue, which could last a few months. And Superintendent Tammy Lacey says final numbers won't be ready until August.
I would lean towards, for basically trying to just preserve this program at all at this point. It looks like to me the steeper cuts this year may save us a couple more years on it. But we're still out there where the whole program is in jeopardy.
And so the superintendent presented the district with a few different options on how to keep the preschool afloat. Those discussions will happen in those next budget meetings. A Huntley Project High School student is suspended tonight after the district said the student made a threat toward the school. The threat was made in passing to another student that involved shooting guns at the school. It happened Thursday, and school officials immediately called police and the student's parents. School was still held on Friday. Parents voiced some concern about finding out about the incident a little too late. The district says they are now reviewing policies. New details on a late-night fire in Libby that destroyed two businesses and impacted some surrounding ones. The Libby Fire Marshal says multiple firefighters responded to Moody's dirty laundry and self-dog wash. To heavy smoke. It was coming from the roof, as you can see in those pictures. Firefighters finally contained the fire after about an hour. They believe that it started in an electrical room. Nearby businesses also suffered some damage. New details tonight on an investigation in Missoula where a man's body was found on Brook Street. Well, tonight, authorities say the man is identified as 56-year-old Jeffrey Morris of Missoula. His body was found Monday on the 3500 block of a property of a bank. Police say his body had been there for some time. The manner of his death, though, is still under investigation. A monumental day for those fighting an epidemic of missing and murdered Indigenous persons as Governor Steve Bullock signs Hannas Act into law. The bill authorizes the Montana Department of Justice to assist with missing persons cases and hire a specialist. The bill is named for Hannah Harris, a lame deer woman found murdered on the Northern Cheyenne Reservation in 2013. A companion bill will create a task force, but that bill has not yet been signed. Within a year, Montanans will be placing bets on professional and college sports. Governor Bullock signed into law a measure to legalize sports betting, so the Montana Lottery will offer betting at locations that already sell lotto tickets. Officials say $2 million could go into the state's general fund, another $4 million to school scholarships. The Montana Lottery has a year to implement this new law. And sticking with the legislature, one bill this session aims to address a critical shortage in Montana: access to high-speed internet in rural areas. MTN's Mike Dennison has more as the bill sits on the governor's desk.
If Senate Bill 239 becomes law, any new fiber optic or coaxial cable installed to deliver digital communication or access to the internet in Montana is exempt from property taxes for 5 years. And for the next 5 years, taxes on that new cable in the ground are phased in at 20% of its value per year. The bill's sponsor, Republican State Senator Jason Ellsworth of Hamilton, also notes that the law requires those tax savings to be reinvested in more new cable.
It's kind of a snowballing effect of get a small abatement up front, reinvest in fiber, and then continually growing.
Telecoms serving rural Montana are strong supporters of the bill, arguing it can't help but encourage more cable being put into the ground. Jason Williams of Missoula-based Blackfoot told MTN News the incentive will help position Montana to take advantage of much faster wireless and cable networks for the next 20 to 30 years. When it comes to access to high-speed internet or cell phone service, Montana is one of the lowest served states in the nation. Ellsworth believes his bill can help change that status.
If you look at where we're at today with only 50% being served, we at some point have to make that decision. What is going to be a big enough incentive? In speaking to the local telecoms, this is a game changer for them and able to serve those communities.
But a fiscal analysis of the bill says it will cost the state's treasury $600,000 the next 2 years and more after that. Governor Bullock has said he'll be taking a hard look at bills that cost the state treasury money.
In looking at those bills or any other bills, I'll be looking at both the public policy implications and to ensure that we have enough money at the end.
Opponents of the bill also say it's an unnecessary tax break for some very well-heeled large corporations. Supporters of the bill say it won't really cost the state or local governments anything because it's a tax abatement, not a tax cut. But we'll find out soon what one very essential person thinks: the governor. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
So the bill passed with some bipartisan support, but a veto would, of course, likely kill it. A Flathead Valley woman credits the Spartan Race with saving her life. She says for years she struggled with mental illness. As the event kicks off this weekend in Big Fork, MTN's Martin Sue shares how participating in the race brought her family together.
I had kind of wrecked all of my relationships through my fight with mental illness, and came up here to see what I could do. It was going to either succeed or fail miserably.
In 2007, Rhonda Hughes was diagnosed as bipolar and suffered from thoughts of suicide. Gaining 80 pounds and losing relationships with her husband and children, it was time to make a change. In 2011, Hughes moved to Big Fork and a few years later discovered Spartan, and her first race changed her life. After miles and hurdles, Hughes had a breakthrough.
I'm leaving everything right here on this mountain. I will not punish myself anymore. I'm going to find a way to use this to succeed.
And she has succeeded. Hughes no longer has suicidal thoughts or needs medication. Spartan even brought her children back into her life. 3 of Hughes's children participate in Spartan races.
When they come visit, we train together, we go to the gym together, we hike the mountains together, and those are things we never did together before.
And it's easy to train with tools around your home that simulate some of the obstacles.
If you want to carry something heavy, grab a rock or a log and go do something with it.
I even gave an obstacle, the inverted wall, a try.
I'm on the ending side of the inverted wall. Now, the way you get here is by climbing up, pulling yourself over, and ending up here.
Hughes's next step is to race in Boise, Idaho. In Big Fork, Maren Sue, MTN News.
All right, the Spartan Race, it starts as early as 7 on Saturday morning, again in Big Fork. Well, the cost of a single musical instrument can reach upwards of several $1,000s. So Browning High School students are hoping winning a national competition will help out. The Manilow Music Project awards $100,000 worth of instruments to one lucky school, and the mission is to help empower underfunded music programs. So Browning students say they want to excel, but of course with the right tools. The chance to enter the competition is now over, but voting is now open. Well, still to come on tonight's MTN 9 o'clock news, there's a buzz surrounding this next story. So we're going to have a special delivery coming up. And our Bob McGuire, he looks ahead to the weekend, as we all are, but he's doing it with your statewide weather forecast. He's going to have that right after the break.